Hello, everyone. You're welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your lunch as much as I enjoyed mine. Yesterday, during the keynote address by Professor Kim Song from the Korean University Medical Center, he briefly mentioned the Korean Green New Deal. The K New Deal, as it's fondly called, is the first Green New Deal in East Asia and is Korea's response to COVID-19 pandemic by deliberate investments in green and digital technologies to kickstart environmentally sustainable economic growth. In this session, we shall be discussing the ICT Convergence technology solutions for this new deal. And we will be wrapping up the session by taking questions from our participants online on YouTube and Zoom. Ladies and gentlemen, to moderate this session, please kindly join me in welcoming our amiable professor, Professor Myung Chung Park from KAIST Business and Technology Management School.
Thank you for your introduction. Good afternoon. Good morning. Some countries, I guess, it's still morning. Anyway, hello everybody. 안녕하세요. 카이스트의 박명철 교수입니다.
So my name is Bang Myung-chul from the KAIST. So we will now start the session 3 of the GCCW. The topic that we'll be covering in this session 3 is the ICT Convergence technology solution for the Green New Deal. We actually selected 7 promising companies for this session. We invited the CEO as well as the CFO from those 7 companies. So they'll talk about the AI-based, the new traffic solution and the smart city and the autonomous driving, the radar technology for the smart city and the autonomous driving. And we also have a session for the smart street light and the control system, as well as a modern tech EV, the charger, and also IoT water sensor, as well as the solar energy. So 10 minutes will be allocated for each presentation, and after that, we're going to have a Q&A session. So now I'd like to invite the Mr. Baek Seung-tae from the Blue Signal. So please welcome him with big hands.
Good afternoon. My name is Jason Baek. I work for Blue Signal as a CEO. 지금부터 발표를 시작하도록 하겠습니다.
From now on, let me begin my presentation. So I am working from Blue Signal. I am the CEO. Actually, our company was established to resolve the traffic congestions and traffic-related issues. So we thought about how to reduce traffic jams or congestions and accidents. So that was the starting point of the establishment of our company. So we thought that we can find a solution from traffic prediction services. And these days, there are many IT terminologies or terms. So the smart city and the autonomous the driving, all these words are related to traffic or transportations. And what is the another element? That is AI. We applied the AI to traffic prediction. So possible traffic congestions and accidents are predicted in advance in order to reduce them. Then you must be wondering how it is possible. Let me give you simple explanations. In order to see the future, we need to look back on the past. So we look on the past. What I mean by that is that actually we analyze the traffic patterns or the patterns of traffic accidents in the past. And while analyzing those accidents and the patterns, we identify the cause. And based on the cause, we work on modeling and we learn from it. And after that, when similar things happen in the future, based on what we learned, we can come up with prediction. And so AI, artificial intelligence, can be used to for the benefit of humans, and the AI-based technologies delivers the necessary information to persons and to infrastructures and so on. So the prediction information is sent. And based on that, we can make ourselves prepared for future possible accidents. So the Blue Signal is a company which makes products based on these technologies, and our technology is being used to many cases. Now we are putting focus on the traffic signals and autonomous driving and so on. But thankfully, many countries and many institutions around the world are making inquiries to us, and not only the traffic area, but also the insurance industry is also asking us questions, and they're making requests to us. So we are working with those companies as well.
즉 예를 들면 이런 상황이라고 보시면 되겠습니다.
So let me take an example.
내가 미래에
So
어떤 위험한 상황이 발생했을 때
that when there is a traffic congestions or some traffic issue in the future, I should be able to avoid those situations. In order to do that, we need prediction information, and also at the same time, controlling traffic signals is needed. So the direction or the cycle of traffic signals can be adjusted based on the technology. So please take a look at the screen, and this is the case where the technology is used to automobiles. So what kind of situations would come up, and in that case, how much speed I need to have, and how much speed reduction is necessary. So all these informations will be available on head-up displays or on the devices related to automobiles. In order to make that happen, so when that happens, actually, we can resolve the issues related to traffic congestions and accidents. And another thing that I want to talk about is traffic signals. So how the traffic will flow can be predicted, and based on the value that we calculated, now we will be able to adjust the interval or the cycles of traffic signals. Based on this technology, and we prove that using our technology, the traffic speed can increase by an average of 7 to 12%. And another part that we are focusing on is autonomous driving. And for the autonomous driving, what should be improved? Of course, we have sensors. However, the coverage of sensors are limited. And however, so that's why we increase the prediction time from 3 seconds to 5 minutes in advance. So we are providing this kind of traffic solution, and we are working on developing further solutions related to that. And also we are collaborating with necessary partners. The smart city, the logistics, and autonomous drivings are the major areas that we are focusing on. And if you are interested in these areas, and if you are interested in getting solutions from us, you can contact us anytime. So because of the time constraint, let me play a short video.
Traffic accidents. New solutions are needed to improve road safety, traffic flow, and congestion. Blue Signal is pioneering the traffic solutions we need today and for the future. Blue Signal has developed predictive traffic solutions and traffic control systems for risk avoidance, smart cities, and intelligent cars. Now, drivers can avoid risks at accident-prone intersections and congested traffic areas using in-car navigation systems or their smartphones. Cities can estimate traffic congestion 2 minutes to 6 hours in advance, facilitate traffic flow using Blue Signal's AI-enhanced predictive traffic solutions, and run high-speed simulations to calculate the most efficient traffic signal patterns for optimal traffic flow without having to build new infrastructure. Blue Signal's AI-enhanced predictive traffic solutions can alert drivers to traffic hazards by providing lane and speed planners that tell drivers when to change lanes,
Change lane now.
or how to adjust their speed.
Increase speed.
In the future, autonomous cars will be able to receive real-time updates on traffic situations thanks to Blue Signal's predictive traffic solutions.
Changing lanes and increasing speed.
Real-time updates on predicted traffic will allow autonomous cars to automatically change lanes and speed to avoid congestion and accidents. With Blue Signal technologies, we'll spend less time in our cars and more time with the people we love. Better communities, less time spent in traffic. safer commutes. Blue signal.
네, 이상 발표를 마치도록
Let me finish my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
지금부터 question and answer.
We'd like to open the floor for a Q&A session for the first presentation.
Are you there? Would you please go on?
Yes, I'm with a panel of distinguished participants here. And Mr. Beck, we have a couple of questions from our participants.
Thank you, Mr. Beck, for your presentation. I'm Chili from Fiji. I have noted from your presentation that most of your clients are from well-developed countries, Brazil, China, and the UAE. But has Blue Signal Corp considered on a collaboration project with any of the developing countries?
Yes, in case of China and Arab Emirate case is very focused on the reduced traffic problem for using its signal control. So we are many communications with the agency for relations with the agency like RTA or in case of China is like a government side. So in currently we have as a continuous communication. You know, as well know that is currently a very big serious of the coronavirus situation. So currently, unfortunately, have to stop, but we are really going on for reduce traffic problem for in case of China and Arab Emirate. So currently, we just only analyzing situation for on country and then on the purpose of the smart city project, just like some communication situation now.
Do you have any other questions? Please.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello. My name is Mr. Beck. My name is Eko from Indonesia. Thank you for nice presentation. So I have one question. So based on your practical experience, how much is the percentage of having delays, risk, or accident using your technology solutions? Thank you.
제가 지금 저 질문 내용을 잘 못 들었는데 이게 안 들리는데요?
Repeat questions.
I'm so sorry, I could not your questions clearly. So please say again.
Yeah. So based on your practical experience, so how much is the percentage of having delays, risk, or accident using your technology solutions?
이거 왜 안 들리죠?
Improvement, how much we can improve these conditions.
Okay. Okay. 네, I'm so sorry. Sorry about your hard to understanding your question. But okay, in result of our solution is very 30% is enhancement to reduce the traffic problem. Totally, but a little bit different according to product. Like some in case of a signal control cases, like measured by the speed, and then we have adjusting it in case of automobile as like some reduced number of the accident or reduced traffic problem, just like this. So resultly, we 30% is reduced traffic problem.
Yes, Mr. Beck, I have received a question from our online participants. Let me couple with my also little small concern, not concern, like kind of compliment. How, as you move the technology to implement in autonomous vehicles, how do you see like whether it will improve? How do you see the challenges in operating traffic lights, like implementing this your technology to manage traffic lights to have better or like efficient traffic management?
Okay, in case of some new coming city or some old city cases, is we have to check first. But is commonly we can adjusting its focus on the signal light control because maybe a little bit different is or traffic situation according to country or as a traffic policy. So first of all, we have to check is a traffic policy and the traffic situation. But as a first step is we can access to check the traffic problem case or traffic amount. So finally, we recommended for signal light control is according to traffic rate.
Thank you. 네, 감사합니다. 백승 대표님 수고하셨습니다.
Thank you for
두
the
번째
presentation.
주제로 넘어가겠습니다. 두
So
번째
we'll move on to the next
주제는
speaker.
스마트 시티와 자율 주행을 위한 레이더
Next speaker
기술인데
is about smart city and
88
autonomous
분은
driving.
비트 센싱의
And for that, radar
이재현 대표입니다.
technology will be
온라인으로
talked about
연결되겠습니다.
by
이재현 대표님,
이재은 from Bit
이재현
Sensing.
대표님,
Mr. Jae Lee. So I'd like to
예,
invite
발표해 주시죠.
Lee Jae-eun. So please go ahead and deliver the presentation. Okay, let me start my presentation. We use a radar technology, and we try to solve the safety issue by using this radar technology. We established a company about 2.5 years ago, and so far we have secured more than 85 million won, and we now have 35 employees, and then we try to resolve the safety challenges. I think we are the first of its kind in developing this the radar technology for the smart city as well as autonomous driving. We also have a partner, Yu Junsu, and he is in charge of the COO as well as the CFO. Of course, it's a relatively short period of time since the establishment, but we got a lot of awards. So we actually developed the entire procedure of the radar technology. I think it was at 2015. We had a very, very serious traffic accident in Yeongdong Grand Bridge in Seoul over the Han River. So this actually gave us a shock, and I was very motivated to resolve this kind of situation. Well, this is the photo, but I know that we also have a previous speaker from the blue signal. I think this is a very serious situation in most of the countries, including the developing countries. So everything is very, very inefficient in some sense. Now I'd like to introduce some of the sensors that are being used. Of course, we use a camera, and then we also have a loop oil, and this is to detect the traffic flows based on the speed. But this sometimes can destroy and damage the pavement of the street, which will definitely give some negative impact for the overall flow. So in our case, we use radar technology to provide more accurate and efficient solution regardless of the weather condition. So this is the basic concept that we have. So we have a radar and a camera to maximize is the feature. So we can cover the entire lanes because it's a lane by lane. And the coverage is very light. We already have embedded camera, so this means we can even do the sorting of the different type of the vehicles. In the United States and also in Korea, we already got the patent. And we also have interface with other peripherals for the link. I already mentioned that we have embedded camera, and we also use AI technology. Please take a look at this video clip in the left-hand side. This actually is within the radar network. We also can detect the speed, and the right-hand side actually can detect or determine different type of the vehicles. So we collect all this information, and then we try to maximize this data. I think we have the highest level of detection. We already got the certificate for this one. So we use this radar technology, and we conduct the pilot projects. I think this year we already got the request from the Korea Road Control Institute So we also can accurately detect the queue length out on the street for the better signal control. So this is actually the starting point. We started here from last year. This is what we installed in some areas in Sejong City. So we also were selected as the exclusive service provider. And we also have our presence in the Pangyo. We also installed the Razor for the visualization. This is also what we are going to prepare further. Everything is done in a real-time basis. So this means that, of course, we have a GPS information. We collect all those information, and there's no relay at all. So we share this information on a real-time basis to have a better control. So we also have a other system, and this also can replace the loophole that we already have. And if all sensors are connected, and then within this space, we can have a more efficient and safe control. This was mentioned before, but I mentioned that we have engagement in the entire development cycle. So we also have partners, and we work together with the companies or institutes in Singapore as well. And we also work together with the core component providers. I just covered the solutions regarding transportation traffic, but in the future, we also expand our business into the autonomous driving. So we also want to develop the core components for the autonomous driving. So this means that the sensor for the autonomous vehicle and also the monitoring capability. That way, we can safely secure very safe and reliable autonomous driving. So this means that we are ready to provide the devices for the full-fledged autonomous driving. So we have very good partners. We are working very, very hard, and I want your keen attention and support for us. Thank you very much.
네, 감사합니다.
Yes, thank you very much. So you're ready to take any question. I think you also can get the question from online as well as offline. So go ahead and then ask any questions.
두 번째는
To the second presenter, Lise.
나중에 다시 필요하면
I see there's no question right now, so I think we can move on to the third presenter. The third presentation is on the smart street light and the control system. This will be delivered by the Director Hyun Young-soo from APEC.
네, 현영수 선생님.
Hello everyone, I am Hyun Young-soo.
안녕하십니까 주식회사 에이펙.
Hello everyone, I am Hyun Young-soo, Director of APEC, and I'd like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to make a presentation. And APEC is based in Daejeon, established in 1999, and through different kinds of solutions, we are engaging in different projects at home and abroad. And one of the major products that we have is the solar panels and street lighting and robotic related solutions and smart technology related solutions indoors and outdoors. So let me briefly introduce our company, and then I will move on to main topic. So Green World is made with life-enhancing LED and creative energy technology. This is our philosophy, business philosophy of APEC. And we are running our offices in Germany, Russia, and Vietnam. And we are ISO certified company, and we are making continuous efforts to advance into more overseas markets. And these are our main products. So solar panel related products in the photovoltaic panel cleaner and so on. And so these are our clients, and we are working with central government agencies of other nations and as well as companies here in Korea. And the APEC has 72 patents, and we have our own 45 designs, and also we registered 48 utility models, and we have many trademarks as well. And we have the various kinds of bases for manufacturing facilities, and we have many products for which over the last more than 10 years we evaluate quality. So even after 10 years after making the products, and we see there is no decrease in quality or performance of our products, and we will continue to do so. And let me move on to the main topic, smart control for LED street light. And the Internet of Things, IoT, when the term first came up, people felt unfamiliar. However, now the concept has become so familiar naturally in our daily lives. We are using the IoT technologies, and IoT enables devices to be connected. In fact, IoT is based on sensors, and in terms of building area, we have smart skin and EMS products, and in terms of utility, we have smart remote detection system, and when it comes to infrastructure, we have smart street light and smart pole and so on. For transport, we have a vehicle detection system. So we have a variety of sensors and solutions, and among those products, I'd like to give a highlight on a smart street light. You may not be familiar with the smart street lighting. However, probably you may have heard a lot about smart city. Smart city is something that makes you imagine what it would look like in your head. But I think that a smart street lighting is part of the smart city. So smart street lighting is needed to improve road safety for citizens, reduce electrical energy cost, reduce urban light pollution. Also, it is aimed at providing convenience for citizens' lives, and the smart street lighting based on smart technology has been introduced to several cities around the world. The smart street lighting system is based on sensors. We have smart load, and also we have the network technologies to enable smart street lighting system. In order for the successful deployment of smart street lighting, sensing technologies, remote control technologies, and control technologies, many kinds of technology should be understood well. And the technologies that we are providing is based on radar. So on a real-time basis, we control the street lights. The street lights on the road are in the darkness. So, but street lights exist for the safety, to provide safety for drivers. At the same time, the street lights based on smart technologies offer many benefits for citizens. Let me go more in details. The car speed is continuously detected by sensors, and depending on the speed, light zones are divided. And so how many street lights should be operated, that is analyzed as per different light zone. And the smart street lights are controlled by group, depending on in which light zone they exist. There are a series of steps that are analyzed. So these analysis takes place in a seamless and in a
지금
continuous
보시는 세
manner.
가지 도로 환경 제어 모델은
These
해외
are
여러
the
나라
three different
개도국이나 후진국 또
urban
선진국에서도
environmental
접목할 수 있는 기술이고 실제
control
주식회사 APEC 해외에
models.
제안하고 있는
And
기술들입니다.
these
첫
are
번째
the
그림은
technologies that we are also suggesting. The
도로에
first
설치되어
one
있는 가로등의 고장 유무만 확인할 수 있는 가장
is
간단한
about
구성이고요. 두 번째 그림은
checking
도로별 시간대별
which
교통량을 파악해서
streetlights
그걸
are
기반으로
broken
불필요한
or out
시간대의
of order.
가로등을
And number two
밝기를
is
줄여서 에너지
about
절감할 수 있는 솔루션이 두 번째 타임 베이스 디밍 방식입니다. 세 번째 저희가
time-based
소개하고 있는
dimming.
다이나믹
So
디밍은
depending on the energy
레이더 기술을
requirement,
통해서
so
실시간으로
depending on the
움직이는
needs,
차량을
this
감지하고
system dims
그
the
차량에
intensity
따라서
of the
꼭
light.
필요한
And
타이밍에
number three is
맞춰서
about dynamic
저희가
dimming.
조명을 컨트롤하는 기술입니다.
So depending
그리고
on
여기
the
보시는 이
specific
면적에
needs,
해당되는 주황색
lights are
부분은
controlled.
실시간으로 사용되고 있는 에너지의 사용량을 보여주고 있습니다.
The part highlighted in orange means
좀
the
세부적인
energy
기술인데요.
usage
간단히 말씀을
amount
드리면
on a real-time
일단 저희
basis.
솔루션은 맥스 6개
So our
차선까지 일단
solution
감지를 하고요.
is able to detect
맥스
things
200km로
in maximum for
움직이는
maximum
차량의 속도를
6
감지하고요.
lanes, 6
전방
lanes.
50m에서
And
감지를
also
해서
it is possible to
또
detect the car speed
다가오는 차량과
at the speed of
반대편 차선에서 멀어지는
200
차량의
kilometers per
양방향에
hour
대한
in
부분을
maximum.
다
And
컨트롤하고
also it is possible
제어하고
to see
감지하게
50 meters ahead. And so two directional signals or two
스마트
directions.
센서는 자동으로
The
가로등의
information
조명
is
방향으로
detected
향하게 되어 있고요.
in two
레이더
directions.
센서는 말 그대로 감지한 차량의 속도에
And
따라서
the key
가로등의
functions are the
밝기를
dynamic
조절합니다.
lighting
예를
zone
들어서
set up.
100km로
For
이동하는
example,
차량이 있다라고
let's say
하면
that there's a car at the speed of 100
차량이 움직이는
kilometers.
전방에 위치한 가로등 5개의 밝기를
So let's say that in
제어하고요.
front of the car there are 5 street lights.
또 예를 들어서
In that case,
80km로
5
움직이는
street lights are
그
controlled.
차가 있다라고 하면
Let's say that there's another
반대로
car at the speed of
가로등에
80.
4개 정도를
So in that
제어해서
case,
운전자에게
we
전혀 불편함
control
없이 안전한
4
운전을
street lights
제공하면서
to
전력을
provide
최소한으로
safe driving environment
최소로
for the
사용할 수
drivers
있도록
and also
저희가
to
제어를
minimize
하고 있습니다.
the energy usage.
그리고 60km로 이동하는 차선일
And in
경우에는
case of a car
자동차일
at the speed
경우에는
of 60,
3개 정도의 가로등만 밝기를
we
저희가
control the
컨트롤해서
intensity
에너지
of
절감을 극대화할 수
3
있습니다.
front
제가 짧은
street
동영상을
lights.
통해서 여러분들이
I'd
이해를
like to
좀
play a
도와드리고
short
싶습니다.
video so that you can have a better understanding. Please take a look.
Technology-based smart street light is a high-tech system that detects dynamic road situations and adjusts and controls the illumination level of a street light automatically or remotely. The radar, sensor, and wireless communication technologies are used as its base technology. The device installed on each street light can communicate both ways. The smart street light always maintains basic dimming level brightness. When the device on the first street light detects a vehicle approaching, it recognizes its speed and transmits dimming control command to the street lights onwards to where the vehicle is headed according to its speed, so as to adjust the dimming of several linked street lights to the level of 100%. At this point, it can even detect the deceleration and acceleration of the vehicle and maintain the optimum number of streetlights that are brightened and its dimming condition so that the vehicle's driver will not feel any change in the streetlights. Also, if there are no other vehicles after the vehicle passes, dimming is automatically controlled to the basic level gradually. The smart sensor device can detect the amount of traffic, the average speed by a section of a road, and by time. By making this information into big data and applying the big data on various road policies, it can have huge effects in creating a safe road environment, saving electric energy, and reducing light pollution.
이제 좀 약간 좀 동영상을 통해서 아마 쉽게 느낌이 전달이
Now that you have checked out the video, I assume that you have a better understanding of what we have, I guess. So on a real-time basis, this kind of information is available for monitoring. So each dot means each street light So through this monitoring, you can check whether there are broken street lights, and you can check whether the street lights are on and off. So all this is possible to be checked on a real-time basis, and also a person who is in control of the system, if he monitors something wrong, he can take actions right away after checking out this information. This is a control server system. So is there any problem concerning communications? Is there any broken street light? All these information can be checked on a real-time basis. And based on the data we collect, and we provide a report, and this is helpful for clients. And if there is any street light that is broken, we can highlight that with red color, and also we identify the cause of the brokerage. For example, is it because of the other factors, or is it because of the internal factor of the light? So also traffic situations are continuously monitored. Our smart street light solution has different range of products. We have high-end products, mid-range product, and low-end products. So it depends on your needs. Of course, there are suggestions by the clients in developing countries and in Asia, and also through the business with ASEAN countries, we are providing solutions to the southern countries in ASEAN. And this is the smart node. Inside the smart node, there are different kinds of sensors. There is a light sensor that senses light, and also the access point and GPS function, and weather information, and the contamination level of the air, and even the circuit TV, the surveillance cameras, CCTV sensor can be accumulated inside this smart node. In fact, this kind of smart node is not well known. Is not well known to Korea, and actually it is well known in the overseas market. But here in Korea, still the smart node concept is somewhat new. This may look too complicated. However, I'd like to put it simple. And we are providing 100 lux per watt. This is about efficiency, and we are offering a high level of light distributions, and also we are working together with the ASEAN countries and many diverse countries. And APEC is pursuing to become a life-enhancing LED technology company. So improving the quality of life of all humanity is our goal. We want to create lights for every walk of life. So that was a presentation by APEC. Thank you.
Professor Pryor, 질문 받도록 하겠습니다.
Yes, we have a couple of questions from our participants.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hyun. Thank you for your wonderful presentation and an excellent solution from your company, APAC Incorporated. My question here is regards security, because we do know that with all these data points on IoT and wireless technologies, there is a chance of cybersecurity threats against your entire system through one of your connections. So what policies or measures do you have in place to counter such cybersecurity threats that could happen against your systems?
Actually, as for cyber security issues,
yes,
we need really good partners, and we are looking for good partners regarding this field. Actually, we have 2 or 3 partners and have a cooperation together to work out these security issues.
Okay, thank you.
Any more?
Thank you, Mr. Hyun. I'm Chelly from Fiji. Do you have any international partners that you have collaborated with to install this technology outside of Korea?
Yes, we have some several partners in globals. In Europe and in Europe and in Asia, yes.
감사합니다.
Yes, Mr. Hyun.
Do you have more questions?
No, it's all right. Just wanted to understand, kind of like visualize how effective or like how much energy saving is coming from the control mechanism, control system. As we saw in the video, usually the highways have continuous traffic. So how effective is how much power saving is coming from the controlling or like the dimming the lights? From your practical experience, if you have implemented in any highways?
Yeah, you have a good question. Actually, once we replace with our high efficacy LED lighting solutions, then our clients and customers, they can save their energy up to 60% or so. But in case they utilize our control system together, of course, it depends on the road conditions and traffic conditions. But one of our Asian countries' clients, we can see their energy saving is up to 70%. This is our real data from our customers.
That's wonderful. Thank you. That's great.
감사합니다. 현영 수사님 수고하셨습니다.
Thank you for the
네
presentation.
번째 주제로 넘어가겠습니다. 네 번째
We'll move on to the
주제는
next speaker.
모던 전기차 충전기에
This speaker is from Modern Tech,
발표하실 분은
and the speaker is Dr. Harsh Tiwari from Modern Tech.
Hello, my name is Dr. Harsh Tiwari. First of all, greetings to all the people who are available here physically and online, virtually with us. Well, on this platform, I would like to have a small address about our company and how we are trying our level best in order to cope up with the current problem of COVID-19 by giving a proper, good green solutions for the future. In our presentation, as we know, we will be talking about the following points. We will be seeing like how we are working for the green future. We will give a small presentation about our company, the major services we provide, and the technologies that we are dealing with, and of course the complete potential of our global market. Now, as you know, a small recap of the things which have happened because of industrialization and problems with the traffic and population and etc. Our environment has suffered a lot, and because of that, a lot of devastating effects like the pollution and global warming and climate has changed, and finally lead to a new pathogens like COVID-19. We all know about it. So what is the solution for it? One of the normal solution people come up with this thing is the green energy, in which we generate the electricity using solar power, wind, turbine, all these things, which is not new. It is good concept, but this is halfway. The another half is how to use this technology or use this green energy. There we come up with the smart factory systems, which we have already discussed. Then there is a smart house systems and etc. And most important is the electrical vehicles, which is now becoming a very hot cake, which is becoming very, very much famous nowadays. And for electrical vehicles, you need electrical chargers. And there is what we come into the picture. We are Modern Tech. We are working on these lines for more than 10 years. Right now, our company was actually established in 2003, and from that time, we dedicated our full attention towards this future crisis and how we can solve it beforehand. In this case, we have already developed our company, and from 2003, we registered, we went ahead, and by 2017, we were actually selected by the Korean government
to establish a complete robot development project and etc. And by 2019, last year, we have around 80% market of the e-bus chargers in South Korea, which is quite a big achievement within a very small amount of time. Now, if we go ahead, our complete organization has been divided into 5 basic parts. We have a complete dedicated team for EV chargers and etc. And and as you know, most of our company, we have the three major areas of working, and we have quite big amount of partners all over the country, from Korea and from outside. So, while doing in last 13 years, we have been able to acquire a patent of up to 14 patents in Korea and around 5 major patents all over global technology, especially related to EV chargers and etc. Now, what are our major services? The Modern Tech is actually currently working on 3 major fields: the electrical vehicle, factory automation system, and the machine tools and etc. The first is our electrical vehicle charger, which is our major work. We have around 40% of the business completely dedicated on electrical vehicle chargers. We have electrical chargers ranging from the slow chargers like AC chargers from 7 to 14 kilowatt, then home or wall box chargers. We have DC fast chargers for cars and for buses, and special dedicated heavy chargers called as master slave chargers, which are mostly for e-buses. Another place where we are working hard right now is the machine tool control panel. We actually combine the information or the technology from AI and etc. And we have already integrated and are making machine tool control panels, especially for big companies like Doosan and etc. in South Korea. Another major work of our company is related to factory automation system, which is like smart factory system and etc. For this, we already have worked for the automation and manufacturing of transmission, engine oil, engine Q cell models and etc. These are the 2 other major field of work. Now the point which I wanted to discuss today here in front of all of you is the 6 major technology on which Modern Tech is right now working on, and we have already patented, developed and also employed. Now the first very famous, very good technology that we have is a master slave technology. And most of the EV chargers that you know, there is a very big machine which is quite big, bigger than a refrigerator and etc., which consists of a power conversion to the distribution and everything integrated into one box, and the same box has a wire which will be used to connect to the cars. Problem is, this is too bulky, it has a lot of other problems and etc. So what we have done is, we have divided this full system into 2 parts, a master part and a slave part. Master part only consists of heavy electrical things like main power control, power distribution, and power management, all controlled by AI systems, and a small billing part and etc., which is a small post which will be safely connected nearby the parking lot, which will only have a billing system and an emergency stop just in case of emergency. So, why this master-slave system is so good? Compared to the existing integrated systems, which are quite fat, our system is quite slim if you just see the slave part. In terms of the dedicated charging is required, if you need, for one car, you need one charger and etc. Whereas using our master slave technology, you can actually distribute the power, so you don't need a dedicated charger for every vehicle. Then there is of course a power wastage in every integrated single machine, whereas this has been reduced very much using our master slave technology. Finally, we have the high cost, which is again always a very important part when you are coming with the implementation and installation of everything. Now, what can you actually save with? The first thing that you save is the parking space. You know, for employing every integrated charger, you require a very big amount of area, like a area for the charger, and then you have to have a safe limit, and then you need a small point which is going to be around here to stop the car by hitting these things. Whereas in our case, it has been divided, so you only need a small distributor, or we call as the slave, and then the car can be parked very close to it. You don't need extra safety precautions, so you don't need too much parking space there. Secondly is the hardware cost. for a single integrated, for every machine you have a dedicated hardware, software, and etc. Whereas in our case, all the dedicated part has been put into one big master, and slaves are just serving for a holder for your guns and etc. So the hardware cost is reduced. Now, as far as communication concern is there, for every machine you require a separate IP system, a separate communication box, and etc. Whereas in this case, all systems can be controlled by a single machine. From upper point of view, it looks a small change from $60 to $6, but if you think about like 1,000, 10,000 machines employed all over the country, then that makes a very big difference. The most important thing is the cost of contract power. If you want to increase number of integrated chargers, you have to increase the contract power, which requires more paperwork, which requires more time, and etc. Whereas in our system, you can actually increase the number of chargers without increasing the contract power too much by using a special sequential method and etc. that we will discuss very soon. So ultimately, the most important thing is how much you save the time and how much you save the money. And in this case, you can see that by a simple differentiation and the comparison, you can find that you have actually been able to save around $24,000 just for 10 machines. So if you think about number of machines up to like 1,000, 10,000 applied in a country, the cost saving will be quite significant. Another most important thing is the sequential charging, which we have patented, and we have patented in Korea and other places. Now the thing is, for example, you are using in a daytime, you have a bus coming, which is going, then you need another bus which is coming and going, and etc. Now, if for example, you have 10 buses, so you need 10 different spots and etc. and everyone will have an integrated charger. So for example, for every bus is around 300 kilowatt, you will require 3,000 kilowatt contract power. Whereas in this case, you can just have one major master and connect it to 10 slaves, and the same master can actually be giving power to different slaves. So the contract power remains the same, but you can actually now cater more number of buses. Same thing is true for the night. In the night, you have the buses which will be coming all together and etc. So if you wanted to do the slow charging, so you can use single gun, you can divide the power between the two buses, and then you can charge one bus at one time, then another, and etc. And so you can continue charging all the, let's say in this example, like 10 buses with just using one single 300 kilowatt master. So that means the complete amount of dedicated power required has been reduced. Another major place where we can use the sequential charging is, for example, you have already made a system with 1,000 kilowatt for charging three buses in the daytime for a dedicated charger, or 6 buses in the night. Now, because of the increment, you need to have more number of buses, and now you require 2 more buses, now resulting up to like 1,500 kilowatt. So you need to employ 2 more integrated chargers, and so it will increase the cost, contract part, everything, and etc. Whereas in terms of sequential charging with our master slave system, what you can do is in the daytime you are already charging the 3 buses with this one, just add 2 more slaves to it, and then when the new buses come up, the charge which has been used up by the first bus, it can be then, the system can be sequentially sent to the other one, and then when the first 2 buses are done, you can charge the last bus and etc. So you don't have to increase the amount of contract power, you don't have to increase the extra hardware, etc. Same way in the night also, if there are all the buses which are being charging and etc. At one time you are charging the first, let's say 6 buses. After that, it has been done, then you can always shift the charging to the next 6 bus and then next 6 bus, and this way the sequential charging can be done without increasing the hardware cost so much, installation prices so much, and etc. Now, and the same thing can be done for the graveyard shift, in which the person, we don't need a person to go and change the gun every time in the night. He can just, automatically by our smart system, it can automatically charge 1 bus, 2nd bus, and etc. when all the buses are plugged in the night. So using this system, we have actually been able to deploy all over Korea with our partners. We have already set up this type of systems in Suwon and other places in Korea. And that's why, as we said, Modern Tech right now has around 80% of the total e-bus chargers in Korea. Another important technology that we have, which is very significant for the developing countries, is the multi-level charging. Means you just have one charger for different type of for different charging capacities. The same charger can use for a 3 kilowatt motorcycle or an auto vehicle and etc. and can also be used for 300 kilowatt by using multi-level charging. In this case also...
2 minutes more, please. 2 minutes.
Yeah. In this charger also we have the same a master and etc. and the slave which has been there so that you can distribute the power sequentially in the same order. Finally, we have the gun change technology. That means you buy and install one integrator, and then after you actually just put one integrator there, just by changing the guns and etc., you can use the same electrical vehicle charger for different number of for different vehicles and etc. All you have to do is just change the gun. And finally, we have one of a very upcoming technology which we are already competing with some of the major players in the EV chargers. That is called as a robot arm charging. Now the problem is these things are very high electrical things, and they possess a very big danger to the human for safety point of view. So why not to replace it with the robotic things and etc. Now other companies are thinking about the same, but they are using a dedicated robot for every car. What we have done is we are using single robot for n number of cars so that the installation cost, the timing, and the efficiency can be increased. So we have already able to show this thing into in 2018 in the Expo, and we got a lot of praise for this one. And the last and the most important technology that we have is a V2G technology, which is vehicle to grid technology. Especially for developing countries and etc., where there is a power problem and etc., we have this type of a technology where our station will already be integrated with a solar panel, so you don't have to overburden the station with a local power and etc. You can actually use the power generated by the solar energy and use it for the cars and etc. Another thing is, which we have already employed in one of a major city in Jeju Island in Korea, is using the solar power and ESS system. In this case, what happened is, the energy which has been there and saved in the daytime has been there stored in ESS system in the ESS system, and this energy which has been stored there can be used in evening when your car come back and you need the charge and etc. So you don't have to overburden your local power station or local power requirement. Finally, if we see the number of potential for our technology, that is N. But right now we already have the CEUL mark, already we are working on that one. We have a full-fledged, we are trying our level best for the global market and etc. Our another very good potential in the future is the potential for Ubers, which will be using drone for charging and etc. And finally, we have been to a lot of other expos like CSS and etc. by last year. We were planning to go this year also, but because of the COVID-19, we were not able to go. So by this, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Now we accept question and comment. Professor Praya.
Thank you, Dr. Hurst, for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
We have our panel and have a couple of questions coming from them.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tiwari. An excellent presentation again. Typical intelligent digital transformation in action. You can see how you've moved from EV charging and exploding right across the arena. So my first question is actually on if you intend to expand or partner with EV manufacturers for doing sort of maintenance of EV vehicles down the line. And also, next question is, do you intend to operate these EV charging stations as you do for a typical or traditional gas station? So if you intend to go down that route in the future?
Yes, of course. We are always looking for the partners all over the world. We already are having partners in America and European countries, but we are always open for the global partners in Africa, East Asia, Australia, everywhere, no problem. And whenever you are interested, just give us an email and we will be happy to share our information. The thing is, we will help you with all the information about installation. We will help you for maintenance, AS service, and etc. We can also help, and once it has been installed and everything is going well, in future we can also look up for the manufacturing in the following countries and etc. so that we can reduce the shipment and the manufacturing cost. As far as your this thing is concerned, whether we can replace it with the traditional the petrol gas stations and etc. Yes, that is our main target, because that is not just our main target, which is the target of a technology. Now, in future, everyone will definitely going to use electric vehicles because that is a much better, efficient, and environmental friendly. So yes, we are our level best trying to give a better solution to replace the conventional the gas stations with our electrical chargers with a safer and energy efficient way, easy to install, quick to check, and etc. The thing is, actually, most of our electrical stations also equipped with the monitoring system. So you don't have to be on the place to check whether your car has been properly charged or not, or any problem. You can actually check it on your mobile phone from a very far distance. At the same time, you can monitor the same system with a far place from your own center. So you don't need a lot of people to be deployed there to check and maintain the machine. If there is any problem, you can check it in your monitoring system and he can go there and fix it up. I hope this gives you the answer.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Sorry, I speak so much fast because we have a very constraint of a big time.
So, good afternoon, Mr. Tiwari.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your nice presentation. So I am Eko from Indonesia. So my question is, you have a very nice innovative solution like the EV charger.
Thank you.
And you know that EV charger has multi-level charging, and it can charge to various kinds of vehicles. So my question is, how long does it take to charge for various kinds of vehicles?
See, every vehicle is equipped with, all the electric vehicles are basically equipped with the batteries. And the charging time is actually determined by the battery, how much it can handle. For example, if you have a battery with, let's say, 300 kilowatt hour, that means it will require 300 kilowatt for 1 hour to fully charge. Now, our system is the one which is going to give the energy. We can give energy from 7 kilowatt to 300 kilowatt. So if you use the 300 kilowatt hour energy to charge a 300 kilowatt the battery, it will just require 1 hour to charge it fully. If your battery and the BMS system can handle overcurrent and etc., then actually you can reduce it also. So that is not a concern with the charger. That is all concerned with the EV means the vehicle itself. The vehicle has a BMS and etc. So this question is more for the BMS system. And our system is fully fledged to cater any type of BMS system depending upon the specifications that they give us. So the amount of time required is fully dependent on the BMS system of the vehicle, not us. If they require 300 kilowatt hour, we will be happy to give 300 kilowatt hour at a very efficient and safe way. So you got the point? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this question is more for the electrical vehicle.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Tiwari.
Any more questions?
As time's almost
Thank you.
limited. Yes.
Yeah.
So we have
Thank
to
you
move
very
on.
much.
Next issues. Yeah. Thank you. 다음 주제는
The next
좀
presentation,
연관돼
we
있지만
move on to the next presentation. We are dealing with a bit different topic. I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Chang Sub-won, CTO of Scotra. He's going to talk about floating PV, photovoltaic. Hello everyone, I am Chang Sub-won from Scotra. So I'd like to talk about floating PV, which may sound a bit different from the topic that were covered so far. First of all, I'd like to talk about the floating PV trends. And what you see on the screen is 25 megawatt site for PV under construction. So I'd like to talk about 4 things. I will start with the introduction of the company.
저희 회사는 2007년에
I am from
설립이 돼
Scotra.
있는
Scotra was
회사로서
established in
수상에
2007,
관련된
and we are doing nearly everything related to the water, and we are making installations for leather industry, and we started from 2007, and we are also involved in floating photovoltaic. And we are based in
저희
Pyeongtaek
회사의
City.
기본적인 구조는 스트럭처 구조의
So
상태와
basically,
부력체를
we
만드는
make
회사고 그중에서
buoys,
부력체 안에 들어가는
and inside the
부육체라고
buoys,
해서 플로터라고 하는
there are
것들이
things called
이제 그것에
floaters,
대한
and
것들이
basically we make the
기존에 연구를 좀
floaters,
시작을
and we
해서
started the research
2011년부터
in
지금
advance.
계속돼서
We started the
진행을
research
해서
from
개선이 돼 있는
2011,
상태고요.
and based on our research, we
구조물에
made
관련된
improvements of our
연구와 구조물에
products.
관련된 대류
And
그것을 이제
this is the
시스템을 좀
structural
고정시켜주는
analysis,
장치인 계류에
and
관련된 연구도
we also
계속 진행되고
are
있습니다.
working on the things that
저희의
make
대표적인
the floating
사이트가 지금
PVs
보시는
fixed.
겁니다. 그래서 2017,
And
18년에
this is a thing that we installed in 2018. So it is near the 새만금
재작년에 대통령께서
mud flat, and 2 years ago, President Moon made a visit to the site, which was really meaningful.
소개를 좀 드려보겠습니다.
I'd like to talk about floating PV.
위에다가 태양광을 설치하는 것입니다.
Actually, it means that installing PV on
면적에 관련된 공간에 대한 이슈가 계속
the
발생을
top of the
하는데
water,
유수면
and so you
유휴
float the
공간인
PVs on water. So by installing the floating PV on water, we can resolve the issues related to space, and also it has effect in cooling the temperatures. So output is pretty good. And this has different structures from the existing PV system. So we have PV modules, as you see on the screen, and underneath that we have a buoyancy system, buoyancy body. So the buoyancy body supports the PV module, but buoyancy body moves depending on the movement of waves or depending on the movement of water. So we have anchoring system to make it less movable, and that system is connected with cables to the electrical system. And we are working on developing the buoyancy bodies, and also we are doing a lot of research for reliability and durability. And these days, these buoyancy systems are set up in the ocean, so we need to be more eco-friendly. So these are the areas that we are working on for research, as you see on the screen. And this is the floating PV market introduction that accounts for 1.3 gigawatt. So starting from 2018, the FPV market is making a sharp increase, especially in China and in Southeast Asian countries. 2.4 gigawatts was also installed for 새만금 area in Korea. So the market is growing here in Korea as well. And these days, offshore PV is being studied and researched. As you see here, the FPV is installed on the water, on the ocean. So the waves and the height of waves are the things that affect FPV. And because of the waves, there are movements of the body system. So that's why we are working on research to make it improve, and also we are researching water type or wave heights and so on. And also we try to identify the place where the wave is low, and we make installations of FPV at a low wave place. And we are in collaborations with public entities
of Korea. So we started the research from 2013. The first installation was broken back then because of the structural issue that we had, and also there was an issue of galvanic corrosion. So after that, we did more research to make it better, and we made another installations in 2015, but 1 year later it was broken again. As you see here, because of these seashells, we had some problems. So based on the experience, we made a further improvement. And the last installation we did is in 2016, and after that we didn't see a big problem. So it is still up and running. But we are making continuous effort on making improvements. So the elements should be well guaranteed, like good wind and good solar energy and less waves and so on. However, recently there was a weather aberrations, and with the cold wave, coming to Korea, and typhoon coming to Korea, we had some issues. And one of the big problems that we need to resolve is that the cost. Actually, the floating PV is highly costly, and also it is affected by typhoon. So this is the case of Typhoon Ling. But still, as you see here, even with the Typhoon Ling for 24 hours, our body system for floating PV was okay. So they sustained themselves even with a typhoon. And also, we developed things with the better version to be more resistant to humidity. However, still we are seeing still galvanic related corrosion issues. So we are still working on research for that area. And offshore floating photovoltaic project, we are running several things. And the research area, actually there are different stages, and we finished up to stage 3, and we are moving on to stage 4. So we would like to scale up later this year, and we'd like to increase the offshore installations more. And this is the thing that we are assisted by the Korean government, and we received $23 million from Korean government for research. And I'd like to share with you a very specific example of overseas company. And SwimSol is an Australian company, and you can check out the YouTube as you see here in the address. And they installed PV around offshore Maldives. And this is well-known company, Ocean Sun. And they chose a different shape, circle shape. So they did install the floating PV. And more recently, a German company, Zimmermann, they also came up with different kinds of structures for floating PVs. So the floating PVs, they used to be made in a certain shape, but last year in Japan, there was a big accident. So that paved the way for several companies around the world to put more focus on figuring out the better shape of the structure. And this is the last example. And we have installed a floating PV system with the fishy farm. So this is one of the things that we are researching on. So that was the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention. So I would like to take some questions then.
Thank you, Mr. Wan, for your nice presentation. Please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wan. Thank you so much for your presentation. And what we consider in this new era of green technology, it seems that FPV models are very quite important for solution many of our problems with the environment. But my question is more regarding how often do FPV models and systems need maintenance?
유지보수에 관련된 사항들은 아마 수상태양광, 육상태양광과
I think that actually the frequency of maintenance for the floating PV is almost the same as the existing energy, and also usually I think the cost of maintenance it will be less than the photovoltaic on land, because we have advantages in the fact that we don't suffer from dust. However, there are many changes that we face. So the frequency of maintenance may be more than usual PB. However, the cost is much less. So, did I answer your questions well? 네, 안녕하십니까?
Presentation. So I have two questions. The first is, in your presentation, you mentioned about the salt water and then the fresh water. So how long does the FVP survive or stand or last in both locations? And then the second question is, if the countries, they want to implement your product, and then the country, they have many disasters like a tidal wave or maybe storm or tsunami, because your presentation also like present about the typhoon, only typhoon. But how can like this product, the FVP, deal with those disaster? Thank you.
Yeah, fresh water and salt water you talked about. Actually, of course, fresh water is more stable because fresh water is mostly in reservoir. So in the reservoir, wind is blocked, and also there is less tidal waves. But in case of seawater, actually, salt water, it is close to ocean. So it is likely to be more affected by typhoon. So in particular, and salinity has chemical characteristics. So in fact, in reality, fresh water is much more stable for floating PV. And also in price-wise, fresh water is more economical. And regarding the second question, Korea is the same. Korea is susceptible to natural disasters, and also Japan and Taiwan as well. And however, Japan, for example, they are using more floating PBs. Maybe you can refer to that country's example regarding how they handle the disasters with the PB, floating PB. However, of course, there was one case where the floating PB was broken because of a big typhoon in Japan last year. However, with the continuous R&D, the situation will be better. Thank you. Do you have any other questions?
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you for the presentation. So next presentation. So we will be talking about IoT water sensor. Let me invite Mr. Young-Duk Kim from the Wave Talk.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Young-Duk Kim, CEO and co-founder of this company, the Wave Talk.
안녕하세요. 더 웨이브톡의 공동체.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kim Young-Duk from the Wave Talk.
미션 스테이트먼트를 거창합니다.
This is our mission statement.
지구상에서 가장 많은 생명을 구한.
Actually, it says, the startup who saved the most lives on Earth, which sound very grand.
But if we talk about water quality and superbacteria, that makes some sense. So let me start. 어떻게 넘기는지 모르겠네. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much.
우리는
Without air and water, we cannot survive at all. So please take a look at the air purifier on the left-hand side. Well, maybe you have seen this one. Well, of course, it has air quality sensor embedded inside because we use a light so that we can measure the spread or distribution, and if there's if the air quality is poor, then this works to purify the air.
There is no water purifier having water sensor.
워터 퓨리파이어에는 워터 센서가 필요 없어서
Purifier. Well, why do you think it doesn't have it? Because the water is the source of the bacteria, and the 70% of the bacteria is composed of the water. So because in the water, bacteria always can grow, even the superbacteria. And how about the microplastic? How about the heavy metals? But if you think about the environment pollution, then we cannot ignore the water quality. So this means that we need to have a very good control on the water. It's not just only confined to the water purifier and also the tap water, but there's no sensor in these areas. Well, this is a news program. I think developing countries as well as developed countries every day encounter, or every month or every day, they always have the water-related issue. In Korea, I think we also had some tap water contamination issue in Incheon, and the Incheon metropolitan city actually had to pay more than 10 billion Korean won. And in 1993, there's another incident in Milwaukee, and I know that 103 people were sacrificed. In another incident also happened in the United States. So we have a lot of accidents coming from the water. This, in some sense, demonstrate the necessity of the filter. So it's so easy to find bacteria or the other heavy metals outside, but once it is inside, it's extremely difficult to detect it. That's because the air density and also the intensity of the impurity are very, very large. So we see a lot of a spread of the light.
The density difference is very small.
That is the reason why we need to have a very, very expensive water.
They call it turbidity mirror.
So it goes a turbidity mirror. So because this is the way to determine the total turbidity or the photomaterial in the set. This is more than 10,000 won. Even for the portable one, it's a very much expensive.
Water quality sensor in a water purifier. The Vector developed a new laser sensor technology to detect impurity in water with only 1/10 or 1/20th price.
더 웨이브톡의
So again, the technology of the WaveTalk was co-developed together with the KAIST, and then we also can go beyond the limit of the word sensor. That's because we have a new algorithm, and we also have the signal amplification. So we also have a backup of more than 200 technologies.
Since this company foundation, finally we developed a B2C product named SenseCup.
So please take a look at the picture on the left-hand side. That's a sense cup. You see the transparent water cup, and then you place it on the station. Then you can see if this water is drinkable or not, and you can tell it within 10 minutes. And then this is a portable one, and the retail price is more than 2,000 won. Something is that you can see in the middle of this slide. However, our Sense Cup price is lower, but its accuracy is much higher. And this time, please take a look at the right-hand side, the tabletop device, which is about $7,000, but the performance is equally the same. So this is for the P2C. This is a sense cup. This has never been introduced before, and we can even measure the contamination level. So we also can tell the water quality from the shower tap and from the boiler and from the water tap. So this is actually first of its kind, and we are definitely a pioneer. Well, the product that we have has a one foam, and again, I told you that this is a sense cup based on this verified technology. We use it, and then we develop this device for the tap. This way, we also can have a mass production of the Sense module next year. Well, this is my second company because I majored in laser a very long time ago in KAIST. I established the company, but I exit, and I also had a chance to encounter Mr. Park, which is a co-founder, and I established this company again. I know that every year, more than 4 trillion won is spent on the water quality or water management. I believe the United States and China will definitely spend more than this, given the population. So again, the cost of the drinking water management is very high, and of course, the objective is to provide the high-quality water, the drinkable water, to every household, but nobody actually has met the demand. Because you need to have a very high sensitivity, the IoT sensor, and that should be installed into the tap water, but it's not that much possible. Where we also can collect the big data, and I believe that it also can be linked to the efficiency of the water quality data. We already secured more than 50 patients around the world, and we also have a huge potential, and we also had a lot of awards, and we are very much proud of it. So it is time to introduce the product based on the technology that we have. Well, so we can actually detect the foreign materials within the liquid. So we also developed the algorithm, and with that, we also can apply it into the other medical field. Like we can also detect the superbacteria in the urinary tract or in the other areas. So we're also developing in vitro medical devices as well. Surprisingly, in our blood or in our urine, we have a lot of bacteria. And then we also have an early deep learning algorithm which can determine what type of the bacteria that we have within the blood and the urine. So we are also under discussion for the technology commercialization with the other major hospitals in Korea, like Seoul National University Hospital, the Severance, and then the Bundang.
It's time for question and comment. Professor?
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Kim. Yes, we have a couple of questions.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Kim, for your presentation and very smart solution to a very big problem in the world, water and urinalysis. My question first is for the barometer and fast data reader. It's a great small product, and we could see that there's a chance to develop sort of like a platform that could build sort of like a community of experts in the field that could help to enhance knowledge, especially for those in the underdeveloped countries or least developed countries. Do you have an existing platform of that sort? And also, how far have you penetrated into the least developing countries' market, considering the poor water quality we have in that part of the world?
Yeah, thank you very much for your good question. Yeah, basically we are working with the IDB and also the World Bank and GCF. Actually, we are proposing some kind of the project targeting for the developing country. So right now it's not confirmed yet, but hopefully next year we're going to form a joint venture with a company in a developing country to check the water quality in nationwide area. So basically, checking water quality is just great one step to solve water quality problem. You know, we have many different kinds of the corona IVD devices, not a vaccine, not a cure, but without the real problem and where and to whom, we don't have any measure to develop a vaccine and other things. To know water quality, that is important and essential step to solve water quality problem. And it's not all our duty. We'd like to happy to work with a company to have another system to clean the water. That's my idea. And if you have any other idea, please don't hesitate to contact with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Kim. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
I have two questions. The first one is related to how long is the life duration of the SenseCap technology? So how long can be used for? And the second question is regarding to the barometer mini. Can this device work in remote areas without internet connection?
Okay. To my understanding, question number one is the reliability or service life of the SenseCap. That is very normal to, that is very same to that of the normal electronics. So it's, we're going to sell through the internet, maybe this year. And then the price is about $100 US, I mean for the retail price. And we can guarantee 1 year service life. And then if we wrap it to the component of this SenseCap, it's composed of just some laser and a camera sensor and algorithm and a PCB. So basically, if it is made correctly, then simply more than 3 years, I think, as a service life. And for the barometer, it's not a product yet. We are developing this product with the medical doctor in the hospital. And that is basically for the medical doctor to check the urine infection by themselves. But at the end of this great development, we'd like to make a B2C product to check your sexually transmitted disease at home by oneself. So that might be very great, but basically it's not a wirelessly operating system. It's for the medical doctor and later on for the customer at home.
Okay, do you have any other question, comment?
Yes, I'm receiving a couple of questions online from online participants. Let me read out one of them. Do we require water to be in contact with sensor, or it detects the bacteria without any contact?
Thank you. Yeah, it's not. Basically, we are using laser light, and there is some container to contain the water, and there is some transparent part to let the light go into the water. So it doesn't need to contact with your water. So after checking, you can simply drink it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, 감사합니다. 더웨이브톡의 김영덕 대표였습니다. 고맙습니다. 이제 마지막 주제입니다. 역시 물에 관한 이야기입니다. 지능형 누수관리 플랫폼 서비스입니다. 위플랫의 차상원 대표님을 모셔서 말씀을 듣도록 하겠습니다. 차 대표님.
예, 반갑습니다. 위플렛의 차상훈
Nice to meet you all.
대표입니다.
I am Sang-won
저희가
Cha
아마
from
오늘
Wiplet.
발표하는 스타트업 중에서 가장
And all
젊은
of the startups who
스타트업입니다.
are making
이제 창업
presentations
6개월
today,
만에
we are the
이런
youngest
좋은 자리에
startup, and we
저희를
just
초대해 주셔서
did
진심으로
startup like
감사드립니다.
6
그럼
months
발표 시작하겠습니다.
before, and I'd like to thank you for inviting me. Let me begin
IoT
my
인공지능
presentation.
클라우드 기술로 전
So IoT, AI, and cloud technology is the technology that we are using. And I am Sang-won Cha from Wiplet.
지금 이곳은 베트남 하노이 남쪽 90km 떨어진
This is 90 kilometers from Hanoi, Vietnam, and this is the island that is called Ninh Binh. And they had a loan from the World Bank, and they installed the software in order to manage the water leakage. So I made a visit there in 2018. So a day for 10 hours, tap water was provided to people. However, they didn't have the results as expected. What was the problem? So I was working back then for K-Water. So one of the responsibilities of mine is to help to bring SME people to overseas countries for their exportation. And one of the things that I noticed is that the meters and the devices that we want to sell or we want to bring to developing countries were not the ones that are not tackling the problems that they face. For example, developing countries, actually, they wanted to create value for preventing or tackling the problem of water leakage. However, what we brought to them was just one of the devices. So what I enabled is to have the connection between the devices and the IoT and AI technologies. Have you ever heard the term day zero? And this term was first began from South Africa. So the water tap supply becomes zero, when a country runs out of water. So the country suffering from drought, actually they sometimes face no water. So that is called day zero. So water supply needs to be made in a smooth manner. However, the water shortage is happening in many places around the world, but water shortage issue is even worsened with water leakage. But around the world, water leakage costs the world 40 billion US dollars. What is needed then? We need to have an integrated systems. It means that a lot of time and a lot of costs will be needed. So this means that underdeveloped countries will have difficulties resolving this issue. So what is the solution of Wiplet that we suggest? So in the past, there were 2 or 3 and 4 different softwares. However, by using the platform, we integrated all the programs, and we saved engineering work up to 30%. And this is such an intelligent water leakage management platform. And also, additionally, we developed IoT-based devices. And this is the solution that we are offering. And Sonic 1 M1 and M2 are hardware solutions. And we have software solutions, Mellow App and Mellow Web. So Sonic M1 and Sonic M2, with these devices, and you can also collect the water wick sound. And in case of the Sonic M2, it is a stationary IoT device. So remotely, you can transmit the water liquid sound and pressure and flow data. And the Mellow application is a smartphone application. It works with Sonic M1, so it supplies the total water leak management service. And Mellow Web software. So AI embedded cloud-based software. So the users can use Mellow Web, so easily they can check the locations of water leakage. So by using our platform, how water leakage can be managed. Let me show example. So by using the software, and you can use this kind of information, and the space can be divided into blocks. And around the entrance of the block, we install the devices. And at from 2 to 3 a.m., we focus on water flow. So we know that 60 or 70% of it is real water leakage, according to our experience. So we can figure out which block is mostly suspicious for leakage. But in the past, water leakage detection specialist has been dispatched to the possible places. But now, only with the Sonic M1 and only with the smartphone, you can just send it to Nello, and Nello web software, by using AI, analyzes water liquid locations. So in other words, so anywhere, anytime, as long as you are able to use smartphones, you can manage water leakage easily. So this technology was developed by using the testbed of K-Water, and performance was certified and validated. And also, this year in January, we made a visit to Malaysia, one of the places of Malaysia, for 2 hours, and we made a demonstration of our technology. And for 2 hours, I was able to find 5 water liquid locations. And now, we are also running a pilot with the concerned company in Malaysia. So developing countries, if they are able to manage water liquids, they don't have to construct big dams. And also, there are many benefits they can enjoy. So from the benefits of water liquid management platform, we receive some of the service fees. So we receive the service fees from considering how much benefits was created. And the developing countries, without the help of advanced countries, with their own staff members, they can manage water leakage as long as they use our platform well. So there are so many water liquid software-related companies around the world. However, there is few companies who guarantees the performance of the software. And we are very competitive compared to other companies. So the global water liquid management market is worth $5.5 billion US, and also the clients of water liquid platform or services, 70% of them are in developing countries. So we are in pursuit of pilot projects with Indonesia and Malaysia and Vietnam, and we are also running we are in pursuit of the pilot programs for free, untapped pilot programs. And I am a water expert because I have had experience more than 30 years at K-Water, and also all of the important executives of my company are water experts. You know, they have been involved in water management or water leakage industry for so long, and our team is competitive and specialized for global water leakage. And we are armed with innovative technologies, but there are many other innovative companies I know. So these innovative companies are changing our lives in many ways. However, what about the water segment, water sector? So are those well-known innovative companies are resolving the issue of water? So, and WePlat is focusing on what we do best. And by bridging water service gap, we want to improve the lives of the world. And we will resolve as many water problems as possible so that we can save the lives and improve the lives of the humanity. Thank you.
Professor Breyer, do you have any comment?
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, we do have a couple of questions.
Yeah. So, good afternoon, Mr. Cha. So, thank you for your presentation. So, I have 2 questions. So, the first is about your technology solution adopt subscription platform for Sonic M1 and also Nelo application when the client needed. So how much for the cost it will be spent monthly, and how if the client don't need it? Is it still available to operate or not? And then for the second question, so you have implemented some places as your pilot project, and based on your experience, how reliable your technology solution could deal with the problems? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. First, as for the first question, I can say that for a small city with a population of 50,000, yeah, our platform fee maybe about $50,000 a year. That is the subscription fee right now for the developing country. And as for the second question you asked, the value of the pilot project, I can say that, but I think your question is the point of economic value, right? So, if you considering the small city, as I said, with a population of 50,000, if you save 10% of the water leakage, I think you can get about $200 a year. $200,000. $200,000 a year, I can say. But it depends on because the water leakage reduction benefit, it differs because it depending on how much is your water production unit cost. In the case of developed countries, the water production unit cost is very lower than developed countries. So it depends on what is the water reduction, water production, the unit cost. So, but I can say that if you save 10%, you can get about $200,000 a year.
Mr. Chan, good afternoon. My name is Ronnie. I'm from Ecuador. I would like to have two questions as well. Regarding the question that you just mentioned that a system will cost $50,000 for 50,000 people, how much could be the density per kilometer optimal for the system? So how many people need to be in the kilometer so the system can be optimal use? And the second question is regarding, can the system to be interconnected with other water facilities? For example, pressure regulator of the water company or other kind of water facility existing already in the country?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Yeah, technically speaking, the sensors that we have Sonic M1, it covers about 20 or 30 meters. In the case of in the case of plastic pipeline, so you have to collect water leak sound every water meter or on the water valve directly from the pipeline. But in the case of a steel pipeline, it covers about over 100 meters. And as for the second question, yes, also you can use our platform to all the water supply systems that you have in every country, because we developed this technology which is very easy to be acceptable to the water supply systems in every country. So I think you don't have to worry about the adaptation to the existing water system.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Cha, I have a couple of questions coming from YouTube online from Dinesh Mahur. It's again talking about detection. What is the minimum length of water leakage so that to be detected by the system? You mentioned about the length of the pipelines earlier, but is there any required minimum leakage size, length of leakage? How big the leakage should be to be detected?
Yeah, that's it. How big?
Well, it's very hard to say, but based on our experimental the results, it covers about 0.1 or 0.2 cubic meters per hour. It detects, yeah. But it depends on how far the water leakage occurs from the place that we measure the water leak sound. But I can say that it covers about 0.1 and 0.2 cubic meters per hour. It's very small water leak.
That's highly sensitive, very, very sensitive. Thank you very much for a wonderful presentation.
예, 이플라 차상원 대표님 감사합니다. 수고하셨습니다.
Thank you, Mr. Cha. Thank you for your presentation.
It's almost time to wrap up this session. 지금까지 이 세션에서는 ICT용 복합 기술 제품을 만들고 글로벌 시장을 목표로 비즈니스를 추진하고 있는 7개 회사에서 유용한 정보를 발표해 주셨습니다. 훌륭한 기술을 소개해 주셔서 대단히 고맙습니다. 제가 다시 한번 이 회사 이름을 불러드리겠습니다. 블루 시그널, 비트 센싱, 에이펙, Modern Tech,
and many companies, the 7 companies, Blue Signal, Bit Sensing, APAC, Modern Tech, Scotra, the Wave Talk, WePlat, made presentations so far. But if you are interested in any of their products, please contact GCC, and you can ask questions to us so that we can arrange the discussions between you and the company you are interested in. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for your participation online and offline. 7 presenters came up for this session. I'd like to thank the presenters. Please give them a big hand. Once again, thank you.
In Helen Keller's words, indeed, although the world is full of challenges, it is also full of overcoming it. Executives, thank you so much for your presentations and your great efforts at employing emerging green and digital technologies to better prepare the world for the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. Also, I would like to thank our online participants for your intuitive questions and for your participation so far. Next, we will be proceeding on the 10-minute break. Please stay tuned, guys, online, and gather back here in 10 minutes for the closing session. Thank you.